Marissa,
Here.
trustee Monahan.
Here.
We have a quorum. In addition, we have trustee Narayan and trustee Pesky. We have a quorum. Do we have any public comment? No correspondence. For the unfinished business, we need to.
Actually, you do have some questions.
We have a thank you, dear trustees. Thank you so much for the generous Target gift card. I will enjoy using it. Wishing you all a happy and healthy new year. I remain yours, Mary Moss. Thank you, Mary.
Employee Mary Moss. Okay.
I hope we get just employees.
Yeah.
Well,
we
somebody
give it-
might hear it and say, "Oh, we're giving residents." I got a bottle of tequila.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the January 2025 BGPP minutes?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I need a, do I have a motion for the Elmwood Park Public Library funding policy?
To approve as presented in your packet.
Yes. As presented in the committee packet.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Wait. Let me just make sure. Sorry, don't mind, even though I'm just an also ran. Otherwise, it'll just come up in the regular meeting. So, funding policy. Should we note in here somewhere? I mean, first of all, I think this is a great guideline, especially for new trustees coming in.
Yeah.
To be able to read this, even though it's a policy too, but it kind of sets the context on the budget and what we just talked about in finance. But we kind of muddy the waters with the tax cap law in here and talking about non-home rule. Should we put a line in here somewhere that says the Elmwood Park Library operates under home rule under the Village of Elmwood Park?
You know what? I would agree with you on that, because it is pivotal. Because if somebody looks at the home rule, how home rule works is if you have over 25,000 residents, you're automatically home rule. We're under it, but some period of time you could pass an ordinance, they become home rule. And what that means, would you rather explain? A referendum, but go ahead.
You become home rule by referendum if you're under 25,000, and it basically means that you have jurisdictional concurrency with the county. So you're at the same level as the county, and only the state can preempt your authority. You have a wider authority because you're not limited to the authorities granted under the county.
Raising tax dollars.
Right. And the reason why this is important for me is because I did an analysis, I think 2 years ago, that for the village that tracked the non-home rule versus home rule communities, especially libraries, to see where they were at over 20 years.
Yeah.
And even though the home rule could increase whatever they wanted to, home rule as a combined group were way lower than the people that could automatically increase. So they were more fiscally responsible with their money than the non-home rule people that were able to increase it the lower of CPI or the 8% or whatever it was that's shown here, or 5% I think it is. So should we? I mean, I think we should call it out.
I will put detail. The Elmwood Park is a home rule, and I'll explain. I have something in my file that explains home rule that I wrote. So I will just add it to this, and I think it's important. I've discussed it somewhat with staff,
it's important for the staff.
You know
to
what we do now on our staff meetings on Wednesday? We have basically policy trivia. Staff member Jessica, she'll pick 3 questions out, and we'll do it for 2 as reminders, because there are so many policies. And I have a really good 3 questions for this Wednesday. So, this Wednesday we're having a webinar training class, and the following Wednesday we'll go back to the 6 questions. So, I think it's important, and I agree with you, Trustee Pesco, on the home rule.
So to get out of the committee, they can approve it with the addition
Yeah.
to be provided by the director and then sent to the regular board meeting for approval?
Yep.
Because then they can always, if whatever he puts into
Yeah.
that, they can always talk about it in that meeting again. If they need to.
So do we need to amend?
Yes, so whoever made the motion was.
So do you agree to amend the motion to
Mike
Yeah,
That
made
was-
the motion.
Mike?
Yes, I agree with the amended. I would move to make
And
pass it through committee with that suggested amendment to include the.
and I'll agree.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. All right, the next one, do I have a motion to approve the records retention and disposal policy as presented in the committee packet?
I'll make the motion.
I will second.
Discussion?
Any discussion?
Yes. As it's written, Attorney Ann has suggested some changes that would take some investigation on yours. So again, it'll be much like adding home rule. I will add that information when I do find out exactly what it is.
Would it be baked in there?
It's regarded the Ann, you want to explain it?
Yeah, so the retention policy as presented here has a lot of examples of ranges of potential retention, and I suggested that we might want to get a retention schedule approved and then just have the specific number of years in there to have an actual guideline.
That sounds material.
Well,
So maybe it stays in committee,
yeah,
I mean,
maybe
if the committee's comfortable with putting it out to the full board for when she makes the changes.
well, I don't know how I can't guarantee whether we'll be able to get a schedule for the reading, but it could we could either stay here or
Right.
or
If
again,
I have it, I'll
anyway.
add it to the board. If I don't have it, I mean, I have documents about that thick to read through and see what's written, and then reach out to them just to make sure.
You're still gonna have a BGPP meeting later anyway, right?
Yeah.
After the next board meeting?
Right.
So you might have to table it.
Okay.
Yeah, before we do that, if I could just mention too, this is just really long. I mean, there's a lot there. I mean, which is helpful, but in my experience, what I've seen other, like, it could be a table, referencing the Illinois, like
I agree with,
referencing the code, and then you don't have to have all the examples because it's.
well, you're right, but in the past, we didn't do too well in this category, and that's what I'm concerned about. That it's more informational for the next person, that everybody understands the retention, because again, we didn't do good, as you know, and I know, and I want to make sure going forward. And I reviewed this with the staff too, so they understand it. I will look at consolidating and see what drops out, and I'll look at other examples.
Or you can add a table to it. I mean, I know
Yeah,
it's long.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you add it to, I know it's long, but adding a table, I think it's just easier to, like, no one's going to retain this, and then no one should, or somebody can
People like me.
professionally retain it, but,
Well,
you want to have something to refer to, and it gets kind of hard, I think, with
I know,
taking examples.
I
and
understand,
stuff.
and all it is a consolidation of the bullet items that I put on here, and I that's a good idea. I try to, instead of writing paragraphs as this was written before, I try to lay it out that you might someone might look at it and be able to retain a little bit more, but it is a lot of information. And when I get the years done, that's a good idea. I'll just do a table. We'll put it in the front, and then I think that'll make it a lot easier.
But in some ways, it is good as a reference document, right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, if somebody new comes onto the board that has never dealt with this before, right? It's good to have the reference document to go to because believe me, the legalese that's around this
Yeah.
is just.
And this is kind of off topic, but I would like something like this, and with that funding policy, it would be nice if that was just like a board, like an information packet, for the board,
You know what?
available too, just that way as a separate entity from the policy.
I apologize because if you notice, everything that I write is the same table, explanations underneath, and in these two situations, I could have done it the same style. So I will look at both of them. You said the funding one.
Yeah, well, I was just saying the funding one is just good information. For
Yeah.
the board.
No, I will look at it.
Well, you cleared the funding policy to come out. Is that the one?
Yeah, no, I'm not.
No,
I'm not
no,
saying
he
there's a
just
problem
gave
with it.
it
I'm
an
just
example.
saying
That it's a good,
it would be the
Reference.
content in there would be nice
Right.
as like a trustee.
So are you
manual.
suggesting adding it for the board meeting or
with the trustee
because you
hand.
just voted to go out of committee?
No, he's
No.
suggesting that there's some kind of like.
Oh, with all these.
For the
Yeah.
trustees.
Got it. Okay, like a trustee manual kind of that has the top.
Yeah, and I'm not proposing to.
Got it. Okay.
No, but it's true. When you first come on, you have to understand all the what comes out of tax money, what come out of grants, and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Takes a
I
while.
have all of that in a directory now because it's the same for the staff members too.
So you're
But I think for now I would move the table. This.
Table this. Alright. So trustee Santangelo, do you agree to amend
Yes.
your motion
Yes.
and table this? And trustee Monahan,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Is motion carries to table, right? Do I have a motion to approve the capital funding policy as presented in the committee pack?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
There were no, and correct me if I'm wrong, there were no changes to the capital
Correct.
fund. Reviewed by the attorney and no changes were made to this.
One last.
Any other discussion?
so where are the limits that you were just talking about? Which shouldn't they be in here?
The-
Like a table of limits or
Yeah. Yeah.
well, you do have it here, 10,000 or more on the renovation. 5,000. No, you do have it. Sorry.
Which is not a table.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's got 7,500 and then under each thing.
I'm good with that, but if you're going to table these things, you can certainly make that one table.
Table it to table.
It's
Table it at the table.
Well, not necessarily, because we could
Well, then
you
the
could add the
table
table and put it on
right,
the
the-
regular board.
Right, then the table could include expense and capital. Go into an authorization table. Some libraries have it, all businesses have it, and municipalities should have it.
You're suggesting you put a table in there at the end?
Let me see what I get back on when I look at it. 'Cause this is capital. I think so. I think it's got to be. It should be consistent with the other two. Plus, it's consistent with everything that I write. I have a table.
So you're changing your motion to send it out of committee to have a table added?
Yeah.
Okay, make the motion. Marissa?
Right, okay, that's fine. Add it to it.
A table of the information that's currently in there,
Capital and
not
OpEx.
the schedule.
favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the patron interaction policy as presented in the packet?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
I don't remember what the discussion was like last month, but I feel like this one is
What?
in like an employee manual. This is all staff. It's direction for staff.
Yeah, well, we took out, on a recommendation of the attorney, we gave examples that kind of made it look like staff. We took that out, so we don't have any liability
Mhm.
of things that we said how to react to a situation. You know, again, if that's where you want to move it to, that's not a problem, and it not become a policy.
I think that's the audience for it. I don't know what other trustees think, you know what I mean by that? I think that it's just different than the patron behavior policy, which the audience is the patron or residents.
Yeah, in some ways, it could be a public thing for the public to see. This is how we address patron interaction. At the same time, I agree. You know, it can be just a guide internally. You know,
So make it an employee.
I could go either way on it.
And
So-
I think that's how we talked about it. If I look at my book,
Mhm.
because I had one that was two ways.
Mhm.
So,
Seeing that we came across the situation, I would say to leave it as a policy. In my,
Came across what situation?
well, with the amendment auditor, that was,
Oh,
but I will say something, and then maybe it's got to be rewritten, because once you start off with stay calm and professional, not a policy, because we're directing
mhm.
the staff members to stay calm and professional. So maybe it's not maybe I think it's maybe not a policy, because we're instructing staff on how to act, and that's why we had examples in here before, 8 scenarios of what to do. And in actuality, I think that I would rather not have it a policy and put in those 8 scenarios in,
Mhm.
Yeah.
put them back, if the trustees are in agreement with that.
And what I feel like I always say, but if you want to be able to add scenarios anytime, you don't have to have it approved by us. You know, if it's easier for you to edit it as needed.
Yeah. So,
do we need to table this or just
Sorry.
amend it to take it out of the
Motion to
policy?
amend to remand it to a staff guidance policy.
Okay,
Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
agree to amend?
Did I make that one?
Marissa?
Marissa made it.
That's fine.
And trustee Monahan?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, next, do I have a motion to approve the patron behavior and code of conduct policy as presented in the packet?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Well, this didn't change much from,
Well, she reviewed.
right, but I mean, did you make that many changes? Or?
No, there were no significant changes.
no.
This had been reviewed not very long ago.
Yeah, reviewed in August 2024.
Right. I added, I did add something on here that we wanted to make sure that we reiterated it on the basis of staff's recommendation. To be honest with you, I don't remember exactly what it was.
Well, I think that was already shown last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you guys approved it to go to the what?
Okay. I know I've read it a bunch of times. Can't remember the
Yeah, with a discussion.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
time.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. One, do I have a motion to approve the unofficial recording policy?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Well, it's the same thing. We reviewed it and then you made your comments. Right?
Correct, I did make comments.
Should do we, to avoid having to change this constantly, should we just have have it say notification to the secretary of the board is needed before recording, because otherwise we're going to change it every time.
Oh, yeah,
we
because of
change secretary.
who depends who the secretary.
I do think it's important that if the policy is public, that a way to comply with the policy also be public. So you can say that, notification to the secretary of the board, information will be available, and then tell where the information is available. So that people
Right,
can
so like,
meaningfully comply
which can
with
be
it.
found on the website.
Correct, yeah.
Right.
So that's what I would suggest. I would suggest at least providing a way to find the information to comply with.
The secretary, which can be found on the website. Instead of having to change the name of it. Okay. That makes sense.
So are
I guess
you,
I'm kind of question the necessity of it, and I know that it's legally sound. I just question the need.
Any other discussion?
well, I think the
So-
audit, right? The auditors, I mean, this is one of the things we did in response to auditing.
What do you
And
mean?
I would also say that the Open Meetings Act provides that meetings such as this can be recorded in addition to the fact that we are recording.
Mhm.
And we're maintaining our own live stream. Members of the public can record as long as you adopt the policy with regards to guidelines. So in terms of advance notice, what advance notice is required, you have to set by policy.
Mhm.
If you were going to say, kind of tape off an area and say, if you're going to record, you have to be in this area, that has to be set by policy. So that those are a couple of things that this policy would do that would be in addition to what's provided in statute. And again, you could or could not have it, but
Yeah.
that's an example of something that would be.
So, it has stuff about the president mentioning meeting start, they need to inform the audience that they're being recorded.
Well,
But is that assumed if it's an OMA?
no, that is not.
Okay, so we need to make that announcement then at the beginning of every
Well,
meeting.
if you adopt this policy,
Right.
And that was a note
And that was
that I had. And, Attorney Ann had pointed that out to notify you.
right? I hope you have
No.
something for him to say.
So before every meeting, we have to say this meeting is being.
That's not legally required, but it's in this draft policy. So it was suggested by Mike who drafted the policy. That's something you could either keep or remove.
Yeah.
Can't we say at the, because really, I mean, what situation are we trying to avoid? We're trying to avoid, and this is the board meeting policy, so it's not the audit, right? So if anybody else other than us are recording it, it's just making sure that they're going to do it in a manner that's not disruptive to the meeting, right?
But if there's somebody in the audience, because even when they do programs here, Like when I've been in programs, they say
This
we're
is
taking
different, though.
pictures.
This is an open meeting. So this is specifically referring to
The board.
the library board meeting.
Right, but if somebody in the audience doesn't want to be recorded.
You're in a public place.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see what you're saying. So
Yeah,
they
there's
have
no
to-
expectation
okay.
of privacy.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
That
I
makes
mean, I
sense.
know that we could say, so if there were a First Amendment auditor come and try to record it, and we had this policy, we could say, you know, you should have done your diligence, and there is a policy existing that you need prior notification.
Well, we have the instructions on the First Amendment.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
in that scenario, somebody walks
Yeah.
in the door. But I would argue that's just not a good look to just say, we have this policy that you didn't know about.
Yeah,
Sorry, too bad.
but I'd argue
you
that
know,
it's
and-
redundant anyway. Yeah, go ahead and record. We already have a recording,
Yeah.
going,
Yeah.
and it's going to be, it's either foyable or it's going to be on the website.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm starting to come over to your side of maybe we don't need this,
Mm-hmm.
because that, if I'm no longer the president, then somebody else is going to have to do it. We're going to have to make sure it's on every agenda, right? Otherwise, we're violating our policy.
Mhm.
That's another piece of overhead that we probably shouldn't, legislate in.
I'm curious, does the village have that announcement?
No, probably because they don't have the policy that they
Yeah.
have to announce.
But they do video record every meeting.
Yes,
Or we
yes.
could take,
You go on
leave
the
this in
website
here.
and see.
This policy is for third party recording. It doesn't have anything to do with our recording of our.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I would also just point out one thing is that if you're hoping to prove disruptive and or harassing
Mhm.
behavior at recording, that can also be handled by the chair in terms of like the decorum rules. and
Mhm.
like
Right,
that.
because we have that
Yeah.
that
Right.
says
Yeah.
if it's disruptive, it can be
Right,
asked
yeah,
to stop or
absolutely.
move it or wherever
Right,
it's at. If they're coming up and putting something right in our front of our faces, well,
Yeah.
that's a little disruptive. So, well, is there a way to update this that really takes that out, or once you take it out, is it no longer?
Which part do you want to take out?
Well, just the
announcement?
stuff about having to announce it ahead of time, because again, there's no expectation of privacy. There's already, something being done. So if a third party comes in and does it too, it really doesn't need to be approved in my opinion, because it's already happened.
Well, obviously, I would defer to the board on their choice of what to approve. You can absolutely strike that statement without the requirement that you make a statement at the beginning of the meeting is not legally required. So you can strike it without just based. You can also
So really,
scuttle the entire thing. That would
Right.
be really-
so really the only benefit then is we would get advance notice if somebody's planning on doing it, because they would go to the secretary first to let them know.
And you would have.
I'm a third party to be recording the meeting.
Yeah, and you would have the ability to turn down. To turn away.
Right.
But again, it's already recorded. We
We're already recording the meeting, yeah.
So was it necessary to have this?
Well,
I can't vote for this. I think it's redundant.
in the case of somebody, some third party coming here and videotaping it, and then just chopping it up, saying, here's what happened at the board meeting, right? Now you've got damage control where you have to go back to a regular recording that shows the whole thing, right, in context, and the damage is already done. Whereas somebody burns you on that at some point, you can stop them in the future when they try it again with this policy.
Not necessarily, unless because there's no way to prevent recording this improper notice.
Right. But somebody that just comes in and does it,
Oh,
then
yeah.
at least we got one
Right.
shot.
Yeah.
One shot at stopping it, I guess.
Well, they would still have access to the recording, the video, to in
Right,
this
the
scenario to
recording is on
chop
edit,
or
so
do
they
whatever
want to
you're
edit it.
Right,
or,
but then-
editing
but-
it however they want.
Then it takes time for you to go in, find the video, and then refute whatever the person
Yeah.
did. Right? They take and chop your words up so you look like a
Mhm.
jerk, right?
Mhm.
And it's like you got to take time to make yourself look better, right? When they've already did the damage out there in social media.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
but I'm just saying if there's a
but like
It's
to
not
her
better.
point, if she said they get approval to do it anyway, they're going to chop it up anyway,
Mhm.
right? No, I can go. I can go either way. I mean, the whole idea behind this, right, was just to make sure we knew who was recording, and they got approval to do so, right?
Right.
someone wants to have the recording, they already have it because we're sharing. You know, it's out.
But in the case where we don't, our equipment goes down.
I guess nowadays you can't never be too safe. With all the stuff that's on the social media.
Let's say, I'd be in favor of just tabling it and reconsidering it later.
And make changes accordingly, notification to the secretary. For the website.
Yeah, make the changes and then remove that. The president to give at the start of the meeting will inform the audience. But our other policy already addresses, I think, granting special accommodations, designating locations for recording. I guess it depends. If somebody, somebody from a big organization were to come and do it and have these huge cameras, right, and have lights and all this other stuff, it could get very disruptive, right? I mean, again, it's up to the committee, but
Yeah, I mean, my final
I would
word, I don't
think-
want to say anything else, is just I think that the spirit of trying to anticipate if someone's going to film something and preventing that before it happens isn't one. Guessing what the intention of someone recording something is and crafting a policy that prevents it is not useful.
well, we're not attempting to stop them. We're just wanting to be notified that they're doing it.
Yeah.
That's all this is doing.
I think it's fair to say people wouldn't know that.
Maybe let's reword it and take out the president needs to make the announcement
And then notification.
right.
Are you thinking about reconsidering it in your next meeting? Or tabling it for a time?
Mike, why don't you work on it, reword it, and then
Okay.
we'll come back to it.
I'll work on it. Let me look at it and go through and see if anybody else has any examples of this.
Okay.
So I think you have somebody
So-
motion to table.
So
Okay, so we're tabling this?
we're tabling it.
Okay,
So Marissa, they agree to amend
yeah,
it,
I'll agree.
okay, to table. And, I don't know, table?
I don't think we should table it. Pass on it.
Well, you can second the amendment and vote on it.
So you withdraw your,
Yeah, I guess I would.
He's withdrawing his second.
so I will, I'll make the motion to table it.
So now
You'll
you-
second. You'll second.
You're seconding Marissa's
Yeah,
amendment
yes.
to motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
What did you decide? Table
To
it?
table,
Table.
it, yes.
Okay.
With 2 yeses and 1 nay.
Table it, and I will do the rewriting of it. For some reason, there was a second copy of the funding one in back. So that was the first one we did.
First it was cold in here.
It is. I feel like I'm burning up. Okay, so any new business? No new business. The last thing that we have is adjournment.
So move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carries. We're adjourned.